When people think about automation, there's a couple of things to think about. The first thing you've got to think about is, what are you trying to achieve? And quite often people think about automation in terms of agility, and that's a really good thing, but there's another piece to automation that you need to think about, because there are really two benefits if you do it well. One of them is agility. The other part is improved availability. You can have a more reliable environment if it's automated. If you're doing things manually, you're sitting there at the command line interface, you're typing stuff in, I don't care how good you are, you're going to make mistakes. Okay, that's all right. The problem is backing out becomes really, really hard. So automation not only gives you the ability to rapidly change and adapt going forward, but also to fall back, because there will be mistakes. Things don't always go quite as you've expected. There may be something that frankly just wasn't as well documented. The other piece is, with automation, you should have a much better record of what you did. Again, with command line, kind of, sort of. I talked to a CIO a while back, and he said, you know, as soon as one of my network engineers sits down and brings up command line interface, I've already got a problem. It's a non-repeatable, non-measurable, impossible to back out of sort of environment. And as good as they are, they're going to get something wrong. From an automation perspective, you've got to select the tools. And there are really two approaches. You can go with a particular vendor's tool set, and you may have a lead vendor where all of the ancillary vendors or supporting vendors have integrated into that tool set. That's a great way to do it. You can do that. You can look at an open automation tool, and so we increasingly in networking hear our clients talking about, in particular, Ansible. And while it's not the only one, a lot of network engineers feel it just works well there. And the thing that really is pushing Ansible forward is that there's an incredible number of Ansible playbooks available for almost anything you want to do on almost any product. And it's gotten to the point now where when I speak to vendors, they said, we don't have any choice. We have to supply Ansible playbooks with our product because all of our competitors do. And then there's a rich community of people that if you say, hey, I'm trying to do this and I got a playbook, but it's not quite there, can you help me? It's pretty easy to find help there. So you've got to pick the tooling, and then you have to invest. You have to invest in training as well as tooling. And there is a cultural shift. And culture always trumps technology. And so you've got to find people on your team that want to automate, that don't see arcane knowledge of the command line interface as their key to long-term job security. They need to understand, by the way, that getting called in at 2 o'clock Sunday morning to fix something they broke on Wednesday night is really not a win for anybody. So, you know, it's part about culture, it's about what do you measure, what do you reward, and in many cases, you're looking at younger employees who have programming skills. They've spent some time maybe in development or in QA. They've got a programming background, although they may not have become a programmer as a career. They're going to be more open to these sorts of approaches. And so it's a tough balance, because you clearly need the folks with experience that have deep technical knowledge, but in many cases they're folks who want to continue to do it as they always have. So it's a combination of the technology, the culture, and then measuring in rewards, because people are going to behave by and large how you reward them to behave.